Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of What Are We Making Today? Well, today we are making, a mess. Yes, we are. We are making a double zip bag. It is a computer CRT, tower case, and keyboard. Okay, so there's not a lot tricky on this one, and also because computers in the early days came in all kinds of colors, you can go ahead and play with your vinyl on this one and do all kinds of weird and fancy stuff. We're going to start with the top bag, the monitor and tower case, although in this case it's not sitting as a tower case, it's sitting next to it. And then we'll move right on into the little keyboard bag. Okay, so what are we going to need? We are going to need, I'm doing this one. This one's going to be a fruit computer. So I'm going to do it in white, and I've got this really cool Irid carbon fiber, faux carbon fiber vinyl. You will need for the top bag, it's got an applique inset. I'm going to try this shiny gray for the inset instead of just plain black. You will need for both bags 2 zippers. The zippers, the first bag, the top bag, is a tall bag, so you'll need it about 2 inches wider than the top bag. So this is a 5x7, so you'd need a 7-inch zipper. The bottom bag, this is about 7 inches, so you'd need a 9-inch zipper. This one I'm doing is the 8x12 bag. So the top zipper I'm going to need 10, and the bottom zipper I'm going to need 14. You will need 6, yes, 6, because if you'll notice, the bags are joined. You will need 6 pieces of ribby ribbon, approximately 2 inches each. You will need 4 lobster claws and 2 D-rings and 2 pieces of Olifun. So here we go, here we are. I will give you the exact measurements for all the different pieces of vinyl for this inside the PDF. So you want to obviously get the pattern. Then you're going to print out, Then you're going to print out your stitch order sheet. If you're changing up the color of vinyl, then you're going to need to make your own little notes about what's going to look better, because on the white bag, I can't do, white lettering for the keys. It wouldn't show up, so I've done black lettering for the keys and a dark gray outline. If you're doing a black bag, then you want to do a light gray outline and white lettering. So you'll need to go through, and depending on what color vinyl you're using, make your notes, just like I did. Get this all out of the way. Then you're going to hoop up some medium weight cutaway. Voila. And you're going to put it in the machine and run color stop 1. Back in a second. Well, I made the awful, horrible mistake of running your die lines in white, and now you can't see them. But trust me when I tell you that there are 4 of them. Okay, and I am going to make a note now that this is the top of my hoop, and that goes in first, because it does matter. So we're going to take our 4 pieces of ribby ribbon, and we're going to take 2 lobster claws and 2 D-rings. At the top of your bag, at those 2 die lines, that is where you're going to put your lobster claws. So you're going to take 2-inch ribbon, fish it through, line up your raw ends, grab a little piece of tape, and about 1/4 of an inch is all you need below the die line. And then because we don't like floppy metal bits, we're going to go ahead and tape this bad boy flat so he doesn't jingle around. We're going to take our other lobster claw, and same dealio spaghettio, fish it through, line them up, take a small piece of tape, 1/4 of an inch below, woo, and then tape down above, there we go. Now, at the bottom of our hoopy hoop, we are going to take another piece of gross grain ribbon, fish it through, and we are going to take and line up the raw edges so that they are 1/4 of an inch below our die line. And then again, we want to tape down our metal bits, blur. And last one guys, Now, when you put this back in the machine, you're going to run Color Stop 2. Color Stop 2 is going to stitch these down so that they don't move around on you. Then you want to do Color Stitch 3, which is going to give you vinyl placement and zipper placement die lines. So run Color Stops 2 and 3. Okay guys, we have run our zipper placement and vinyl die lines. So I'm going to go ahead and take up this piece of tape, which I probably should have done before I ran the die lines, because if you'll notice, I went ahead and got them stitched in there nice and good. So yay me. I love it when I do that. That's okay. We all get a little distracted. None of this is catastrophe worthy. Here. There we go. Luckily, none of that's gonna show. Yay. And it shouldn't cause a problem with grabbing the thread and causing looping, but just in case, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there we go. Now we are going to take our zippy zip and we are going to, this is 1 inch gap and our tape on our zipper is 1 inch, and we are going to line it up. And I'm gonna trim a little of this bad boy off because there's really no sense in having this much zipper flopping around causing problems. And we are going to line it up between those two lines. Okay. If they cover or obscure the line just a little bit, that's fine. And we are going to put a little piece of tape. Now, since this is the 8 by 12, I don't have room to run it on the outside like I normally would. So I'm going to have to use a little bit more tape to hold things in place. Oops, and that's going to get stitched in, I can tell you right now, because I know exactly where that stitch path is. So we need to move that tape up a wee bit. There we go. That won't get taped in. Now we're going to come over here. Remember, we're going to keep this nice and straight and perfect. And we are going to tape it down right here. And again, you don't want to obscure that stitch path. Otherwise, you are going to stitch your tape right into your bag again. What a pain. And we're going to throw it in the machine, and we are going to run Color Stop 4. So we will be back after 4 to lay our vinyl. All right, there we are, guys. Our zipper tape is nice and tacked down, and it's ready for us to add our vinyl. And you'll have exact measurements for each of the 4 bag sizes. Actually, it's 8 bag sizes, haha. Actually, each of the 2 bag sizes for the individuals, and if you bought the set, the PDF will have all the information. What you need to do is you line up the bottom piece of vinyl so that it's right against those teeth. And then you need a nice straight line on your top vinyl, and you want it right against those teeth. Make sure that you are covering your die line top and bottom, or I'm sorry, left, right, and bottom on this one, and then left, right, and top on this one. Now we're going to just put the smallest itty bittiest bit of tape right over here in the corner to kind of hold this in place while it stitches. Yay. And then we're going to come over here. Making sure everything's bucked right against those teeth. And we're going to do the same thing. Put a little piece of tape. Make sure everything's all nice and squished down. And lined up. And now throw it back in the machine and run Color Stop 5. And we'll be back after 5. Okay, I told a little fib. I said we'd be back right after we tacked down our vinyl on step number 5, but I went ahead and ran the die line for step number 6. This is our vinyl monitor inlay, and we need a piece that's vinyl, of darker vinyl, that's about 6.5 by 7.5. 6.5 by 7.5, you say. I say. So let's go ahead and cut a little piece of vinyl. I don't know how well this is going to look once it's stitched. I just had it in my mind that this looked kind of like a computer monitor screen, and that seemed like a fun thing to do. So I may regret this decision. I don't know. 6.5 by 7.5, you say. I say. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to tape this lightly. Take that tape up, and tape that tape up. We'll probably reuse that tape. We're gonna tape this lightly over that. We wanna make sure that our whole die line is covered. And then we are going to run only Color Stop 7. And then we're gonna come back and applique trim this, because later in the pattern, it will satin stitch around it to make it look like, you know, a monitor. All right, let's throw it in and run Color Stop 7, and I will be back with you after 7 to applique trim it. Oops, I forgot to trim before I started that design work. Oh well, it's okay, it's not going to interfere. Okay, so we're gonna pull up our little tapes. And we are going to take our applique scissors, and we are going to cut as close as we possibly can without snipping the zigzag stitches all the way around. And applique is not something to be afraid of, guys. It's a natural part of embroidery. And once you get really good at it, so many avenues open up. Open, open, open. And this is the best kind of applique. It's 4 straight lines. Wee, wee. Get a good start in there. Yeah, we got it. All right, now you are going to put this bad boy back in there, and you are going to run Color Stop 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I will see you back after Color Stop 13. Ready to rock and roll? Let's do it. Okie dokie pokies, we are at Color Stop 14. Color Stop 14, there we go, all stitched out. So now we're gonna put our half lining on the back, and you'll need a piece of Olifun. For this bag, I think it's like 8.5 by 11 or so. And we are just going to secure it left and right. Don't need to do a whole bunch. And then we're gonna put it back in and run Color Stop 14. And we'll be back to trim it out in just a second. Ooh. And there she blows. So I am going to go ahead and trim a little bit of this off. You don't have to trim all 4 sides, but you do want to trim the top and at least an inch or so down the left and right side. Ooh. Yeesh. There we go. I cut that one kind of short on placement, didn't I? Yeah. Ooh. We're just going to go ahead and take all of that because the tape wanted to. Yeah. Now it's time to do our little zipper trick. All right, so we're going to flip it over. We're going to open our zipper to approximately 2 fingers from the far right-hand side. And then we're going to tape that little boy open so that our metal bits don't go floppy, floppy, floppy. And then because some machines do not like transitions, going from vinyl to zipper to vinyl, we're going to put a little piece of tape there and a little piece of tape there. And we're going to throw it on the machine, and we are going to run Color Stop 15, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, folks, time for our zipper trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull back this little piece of tape right here, and we are going to snip the teeth from the ribbon, and we're going to go all the way down, yeah, that's going to be tight work, to the stitch line then, here are both sides. There we go. Then we're gonna leave about 1/4 inch of teeth, and we're gonna cut the teeth out. We're gonna lift the vinyl and the ribbon, and we're gonna put a little tear in our stabilizer, and we're gonna tuck our tails. Tuck tail and run. Okay, and then we're also, while we're here, going to remember to put a little tear in our stabilizer where the zipper's at, so that later, what is wrong with you? So that later we can go ahead and, maybe my seam ripper's getting dull. I don't know. There we go. Later we can flip our bag through that tear. Now we're gonna come over here and we are going to pull the tape back. And we're gonna take our scissors. We're gonna cut left and right. All the way down to that stitch line, but when you cut the teeth out, leave yourself about 1/4 inch. So that's when we turn it, the teeth don't poke you out of the hole. And then we're gonna put a little tear right there. We're gonna stuff those tails. Stuff, stuff, stuff. Hey, I said stuff. Stuff. There we go. All right. Gonna flip this over. We're gonna cross our tails. And that's a lot of tail. We don't need that much. I'm gonna put a little piece of tape right there. There we go. Gonna come over here and I am going to cross. Ooh, that's a lot of tail. Somebody getting a bunch of tail tonight. And we're gonna, I know that was a little blue, sorry. And we're gonna cross those tails. We're gonna put a little piece of tape right there. We're gonna throw it back in the machine. And we are gonna run color stop 16. Back in a second. You'll see that it went ahead and stitched those tails down, so we can flip this bad boy over and trim the excess away, and the ribbons are not going to go anywhere. Now on the front side, we're going to pull up our tapes, and the trick on pulling up these two tapes is you pull until it pops, and then you come to the other side and you pull until it pops. So pop, and then you come and this side, pop. Now, because we're about to put the back on, we are going to need to turn our hardware down. I'm sorry, I just don't want to go out with you. I don't feel like that about you. Oh, not that kind of turn down? Okay. So we're going to snip across there, pull this up, and tape it back down. I know. I'm going to pull this up, snip across here. Come here. There we go. Fold this down, tape across there. Yay. Now we're going to come down here and do that all over again. When you're clipping, these cutouts do not go all the way to the stitch line. Stop about 1/16 of an inch from the stitch line. Turn that over. Yay. Come over here, do this one. Yeah. Yeah. Done. All right, all our hardware is turned in. All of our jumps and little nasties are trimmed back. Take your pretty back vinyl, put the pretty side to the pretty side, kind of sort of line it up, make sure you're covering your die lines. All right, you can go ahead and, if you want, four corner it, just so it doesn't slide away. You don't have to, but some people are paranoid. Throw it back in the machine, and you are going to run color stop 17. Do not run 18. 18 is a dead stop to keep your needle head from moving to the middle of your project. We'll be back in a second. Okie dokie folky, we are done with the upper part of the bag. So let's go ahead and trim the stabilizer carefully. This is where so many people make the mistake of snipping their stitches on their zipper or cutting their zipper open. That is horrible. Don't do that. That's bad. Pay attention, go slow. There we go. All right. Now we're gonna pop this bad boy out of its hoop. I'm gonna move that hoop out of the way. And we are going to trim left, right, top, and bottom. Yeah, I think my cutter's getting dull. It is. Might be time for a new blade. I trim like about 1/8 of an inch away. You can do more. I would not suggest a whole lot less. That's more than 1/8 of an inch. Oh well. There we go. Now we need to grab a pair of scissors and round our corners. That's so that we don't have that extra bulk of vinyl in our corners to make our corners so that we can get our corners to poke out correctly rather than being all gnarly looking. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to reach our hand in and see if we can't spelunk for a little tape. There should be 3 pieces. 1, 2. There's the third. I know you're in there. There you are. We're going to open our zipper all the way. We're going to reach a hand all the way down here. We're going to pick a corner, any corner. And we're going to, I like to start turning at the corner, if it'll let me. There we go. All right. And then push the bottom. Come on. And roll the whole thing out. Like so. And we're going to go down here and pokey out some corners. Pokey out. And since I can get my whole hand in, since I'm doing the big bag, I didn't have to use my pokey-outy tool. And take those 2 pieces of tape off. I'm going to come up here and turn. And come over here and turn. And then, ooh, now, vinyl has to be retrained. It spent all of its life flat, and now you want it to do, ooh, there we go. You want it to turn, so you can put some big heavy books on it and get it to lay flat by, ooh, I just cut myself. Good job, me. Get it to lay flat with pressure overnight, or you can take a little piece of felty felts so that your clover clips do not indent your vinyl, but do force your seams. Boy, I am really bleeding. I'm gonna have to go find a Band-Aid. Ugh. And then we're gonna set this aside and do part 2 of this, which is the keyboard. So let me get this. And actually, before we start that, I'm gonna go put a Band-Aid on, so I don't bleed all over the place. I'm gonna set this bad boy aside so that the vinyl can train a little bit while we work on the bottom half. So back in a second with the bottom half. Okay guys, we are ready to move on to the bottom bag. So hoop up your medium weight cutaway, throw it in the machine, and hit color stop 1. We'll be back in a second. All right guys, and here we are. We've got our die lines, and you can't see them because I ran white thread on white stabilizer. But what we're gonna do is we are going to actually mark the top of our hoop so that we know when we put it in, that's the way it goes. Then we're gonna take a piece of 2-inch cross grain ribbon. We're gonna fish it through our lobster claw. We're going to You see? Yep, you can see. 1/4 of an inch past the die line, tape it down. And then we're gonna kind of flatten out this metal bit as much as we can and tape it into place. Ah, I pulled it out. What did I do? Yoy, oi, oi. Don't tug that hard. Obviously. There we go. And then tape that up and out of the way. We're gonna come over here and not do the same exact thing, because if we did the same exact thing, we'd pull it up and have to do it again and again and again. So this time, carefully, 1/4 inch, don't tug too much. It's just tape, it's not super glue. And we're gonna tape the floppy metal bit out of the way as well. Throw it in the machine, run color stop 2 to tack those down, and 3 to give you the die line for vinyl placement and zipper placement. Back in a second. Okay, here we are. You can see we've got our ribbon and lobster claw assemblies tacked down, and we've got our die lines for as well. If you know, you can see white on white. Same deal as the other bag, except here's where the keyboard bag's a little tricky. Instead of opening from the left to the right, the keyboard bag, haha, because I wanted to mess with you. No, actually, it's for aesthetic balance. Opens from the right to the left. So make sure you put your zipper head over on this side, over on the right-hand side. And we are gonna tape that down. And we're gonna make sure our zipper tape stays inside our 1-inch die line all the way across. Pull it tight. Make sure that it's not all weavy-wovy. And then tape it down here, put it in the machine, and run color stop 4, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, there we go. Our little piece of tape is all tacked down. We're gonna pull up these little pieces of tape and hold them aside. And now you're going to line up your bottom vinyl so that it's right against those teeth. Make sure that your left, right, and bottom die lines are covered. Now you line up your top piece of vinyl, and you make sure that your left, right, and tops are covered. We're just gonna throw a little bit of tape right there and come on down, make sure we stay nice and tight and even, and put a little piece of tape right down there. Now I'm gonna throw it in the machine. I'm gonna run color stop 5. Hold on, let me grab my stitch sheet. Stitch sheets are always helpful at this point, you know? We are going to run color stops 5. We're gonna do 5, 6, and 7. That's gonna tack down your vinyl and do the keyboard and the letters. So I will see you after 5, 6, 7. Right, there we go. We've got all of our design all stitched out. And it's time to put our half lining on the back. So grab a piece of Olifun, and position it in place, and just kind of secure it top and bottom, or actually, I guess technically this is left and right, but whatever. No need to like super nail it down. And then pop it back in the machine, and we will be back after that's tacked down. Okay, look, there's our ollie, and we're gonna go ahead and trim off the top. You don't have to worry about the bottom. Bottom will get trimmed when we trim the whole bag. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the left and right since they're short and there. There we go. And I'm gonna take this tape because I'm probably gonna use it reuse it here in a second. Blah. Now, actually no, we're gonna reuse those. Okay, we're gonna pull this tape and we're gonna pull this tape, and we are going to move our zipper to approximately 2 fingers from the left this time. Usually it's from the right, but there's a method to my madness. So about 2 fingers. We're gonna tape that open. And remember, your machine probably is not in love with your transitions. That goes from vinyl to zipper to vinyl. So we're gonna put a little tape there, and I just noticed, ooh, I have got 2 jumps. That did not, not anymore. There you go. Throw it back in the machine and run the next color stop, and we'll be back in a second. Hey, there we go. We've got these tack lines, so we're gonna peel back just like we did on the first bag our tapes, and we're gonna snip the teeth out of the ribbon on the left and the right. Then we're gonna snip the teeth out about 1/4 of an inch from the tack line. We're gonna lift those up, and we're gonna put a little tear in our stabilizer and stuff. I'm gonna lay that tape back down, and while I'm back here, I am going to go ahead and put a little tear in my stabilizer so I can turn later. We're gonna flip around. I'm gonna pull this tape back. There we go. And we're gonna snip. Left side, right side. Then we're gonna chop those off about 1/4 of an inch. Yay. I'm gonna put a little tear in our stabilizer right along the seam line. And then we're gonna stuff those through. Hang, come here. I'm gonna stuff those through just like that. Leave the teeth on top, ribbons go to the back. Put your tape back down. Flip everything over. We're gonna cross our tails. And they don't need to be that long. There we go. Go away. I'm gonna put a little piece of tape right there to hold them in place. Gonna come down here, we're gonna crisscross applesauce. And again, they don't need to be quite that long. And we're gonna put that there. And then we're gonna go run the next color stop and tack those babies in place. Back in a second. Almost done, folks. Seriously, we're almost there. So flip it over. Trim off your crisscrosses because we're done with them. We don't need them. Flip her back over. You can pop these little tapes off, and remember, pull this way. Then pull this way, and you never get tape stuck in your stitches that way. So we're gonna pull, we're gonna pull this way and then pull that way. Come over here, take up this little piece of tape, take your scissors, cut down the right and left sides, almost to the stitch line, but not quite. Cut out your tab. Fold your ribbon and your lobster in. There you go. Come over here, pull that tape up. Yeah. Cut on the right and left. Go ahead and cut across. Don't cut all the way to the stitch line. Leave a little bit. There we go. Put that there. Yay! Where's the back? There's the back. Pretty side to pretty side. Yay! Make sure you're covering the whole bag. If you want to 4-corner tape it, just to kind of hold it in place so it doesn't slip slide around while it's stitching, you can go ahead and do that. There you go. And throw it back in the machine, run the next color stop. Do not run the last color stop. Remember, that's a dead stop. Back in a minute. Woohoo! And there we go. There's the last of it. So let's flip it over, and we're going to trim off the back stabilizer. Now remember, folks, go slow, go careful. This is where a lot of you guys get so excited and you cut your stitches or you cut your zipper and all this hard work. Then you have to take it over the sewing machine and sew in a zipper and blah. So much more work. Pay attention to what you're doing. Go slow. Do not cut your teeth. Do not cut your zipper. Do not cut your stitches. Woohoo! Now, pop it out of the hoop. Come here. There you go. And then we're going to trim left, right, top, and bottom. We want to be about 1/8 of an inch away, I think. Yep. Just like that. Remember to do. Now, we're going to trim on our corners to round them out so that we don't have all that excess vinyl. So our corners look nice and neat and do what we want them to do, which is poke out. Now we're going to open it up and take out 1, 2, 3. Come here, 3. There we go, 3. Pieces of tape. Yeah. I'm going to open our zipper wide. I'm going to grab a corner, any corner. push out. We're gonna come down here, grab corner. Come on, push out. Flip and roll. Yes, yes, yes. Tug, align, push. I'm gonna turn out that corner. And come turn out this corner. There we go. There we go. Woohoo! We're gonna close this bad boy up. Now, we will have to press that down with some clover clips or some books or something. But I am going to take my mouse dangle and hang my mouse dangle off my keyboard. And then I'm gonna go find my computer bag. There's my computer bag. I'm gonna take my clover clips off. Hopefully this will stay now that it's been smooshed down for a little bit. It's looking like it's gonna stay a little bit. All right, we're gonna move those out of the way. We're gonna come up here to this zipper and we're gonna put our diskette dangle, off of the computer. Then we're gonna slide this up and we're gonna grab this, woohoo! And we are going to attach. And there we go, guys. And let's pan up. Can you see the whole thing? Ah, okay, well then, let's go ahead and take the camera off the camera stand. Ah. And there we go. Pretty cool, huh, guys? All right, peace.